League has come out in support of President Jacob Zuma. They also expected to mention the state of capture report. Let's go there live now.
She did this regardless of the fact that she was specifically told by the ANC Youth League president that the president of the Youth League did not understand what was the role that he had to play in the investigation that was conducted by the public protector. But the public protector continued to make reports, including the name of the president and that of the SG of the ANC. It is our considered view that the public protector did this knowing very well that she was launching a DA campaign ahead of 2019 national and provincial government elections. This is confirmed by the resignation of the CEO of the Public Protector's Office to take a post in the DA Tshwane municipality. The leaking of information has been done deliberately with no other motive besides that of attacking the president of the ANC and of the country, and many deployed comrades of the ANC in government and state-owned enterprises. We reaffirm our stand and support for Comrade Brown Molefe, as well as the management team that he leads with. He remains a shining diamond that represents black excellency. We call on the implicated individuals, directly and indirectly, to take the report on judicial review as privileged by the Constitution. We are particularly interested on a range of constitutional questions that the Public Protector's report and remedial action speaks to. Amongst those is the establishment of the Judicial Commission, as we understand that this is the function of the state president and no other person, and that the argument that the state president can't form a judicial commission of inquiry is in fact, in our view, just a thing to hide behind, because the president has in fact constituted an arms deal commission, which part of its work was to deal with the work and the things that implicated the president as a result of the many charges that we have seen the president of the ANC and that of the country facing out of the arms deal. We call on the ANC leadership to stop panicking. It is our view that there is nothing conclusive that the Drama Queen report has. The half-cooked report is nothing else except for the trigger that was intended to cause commotion in the country and in the movement. And we caution the leadership not to rise to this occasion of being made to behave in a manner that seeks to suggest that there is something wrong. The ANC leadership must stop having meetings and agendas of meetings informed by headline news with white censored media and whatever it says. The white media of South Africa has never liked the movement, and it will not start loving the movement now. We further call on the newly appointed public protector to also take the former public protector Shady's work on judicial review on the current report, because if she does not do this, this might affect and tarnish the image of the office. The ANC Youth League has noted that the drama queen has left the office and therefore remains not busy these days. And as the ANC Youth League, we want to wish her well in her DA endeavors. And now that she is resting, and can she rest in peace? The ANC Youth League wants to advise the public protector to be careful of the staff that is in the office, because it is the same staff that has been identified as the one that has been leaking the information about the reports that are conducted in that office. And that begins to tarnish the image of the office that is concerned. And we are thinking that it will be advisable for her that she must relook at the staff that she has in the office. In relation to the reflection of the African National Congress Youth League on the Save South Africa movement grouping, as the ANC Youth League, we noted the group mainly led by business people who gathered under the theme Save South Africa. It is our knowledge and view as the ANC Youth League that these are prefects of white monopoly capital. The real aggrieved here are whites, mainly in the mining sector. Part of the Save South Africa call are individuals of the middle stratum of the working class occupying managerial position, who are sent to attack the ANC and its leadership. Looking closely at the group led by Indodana Yolahleko Ubaba Usipho Pichane and the retired justice known as Zach Jacobs, who insulted a journalist by the name of Pete Rampeti when he asked him about his tireless attempts of trying to tamper with the report of Advocate Muzi Sikakani before the report was made public about the unlawful rogue unit that was at SARS. You can tell that these are people who did not accept the ANC leadership since 2007, and the conditions have worsened given the fact that the real masters are losing doing business with the state. We call on South Africans who have issues with the African National Congress and the movement to continue to raise these issues, but be careful of the association. For one, we know that there are many South Africans who are raising genuine issues that they have concerned about. But the association at some level might begin to create doubt and cast doubt on the level of them being serious and being genuine about the issues. As the ANC Youth League, through our NWC, we will be conducting a thorough research and investigation on beneficiaries of service providers of government. This research will be focusing on 4 categories, being age, race, duration of service, and who are the beneficiaries of and what do the beneficiaries of the government entities and the government itself do to emancipate young people, blacks in particular. This we will do informed by 2 reasons. Firstly, to see sectors that are not representative of the demographics of our country in terms of age, race, gender, and people with disabilities. Secondly, to establish the reasons of the real complaint about state-owned enterprises, because from where we stand, there is a growing indication that people are complaining because they are losing business, because they believe that because they are white, they are the only ones that are entitled to do business with government, particularly on areas where black people have not advanced drastically in ensuring that they occupy that space. We are going to urge that all leaders of state-owned enterprises begin to prioritize the youth of South Africa. Mr. Dumieni, Mr. Brown Melefe, Mr. Dan Manchana, and many others, they must always remember that their responsibility is to transform institutions, not to accept to be intimidated and be threatened by white supremacy, which over decades has benefited from these institutions. As we conduct this audit as the ANC Youth League, we will start with the institutions they lead, particularly because we say some of them, they represent black excellence. So part of the black excellence is that you must give and create space for black people. The youth of South Africa is not employed. The youth of South Africa is sidelined in the mainstream economy. We cannot watch by the sidelines when this continues. These state enterprises and government itself must create conducive environment for the beneficiation of our black people, but equally for the beneficiation of the youth. Because if you are 74 and you are still doing business with the state, when you die, really, who is going to continue to do business with the state because you would be dead? So we need to invest on the youth of South Africa. The African National Congress Youth League has noted the ill discipline that continues to engulf our movement, particularly the liberation movement. We call on the ANC to instill discipline without fear and favor. As the Youth League, we have noted the growing trends of the ANC leadership breaking ranks, speaking outside of structures. We call for refrain from this behavior across the movement, particularly the African National Congress. The ANC Youth League will be writing a letter to the ANC leadership, a letter of complaint about the conduct of Comrade Jackson Mthembu. We equally call on the ANC to look at all other members who have the similar behavior like Comrade Jackson Mthembu, that they must be considered to go to a disciplinary hearing of the African National Congress. We call on the ANC leaders and the leadership to give veterans of our movement a platform for them to raise the concerns they have. We must not forget their voluntary commitment to the liberation of the country. It is within this background that we think that they should be listened to. We equally would like to raise some of the issues with we equally want to raise that they must raise some of the issues with the structures of the MKMVA. Otherwise, it will defeat the purpose of creating the structure. We call on the African National Congress communication to be consistent in dealing with issues. We have never seen a statement issued against Jackson Mthembu, but we have seen a statement issued against KP Maphatso. This behavior of the ANC communication might help and play to the narrative that there are groupings in the ANC NEC, and thus others are shielded and others are responded to. We call on our structures as the ANC Youth League to refrain from commenting on the leadership question of the ANC. Unlike the ANC, we in the Youth League, we will be quick to deal with such ill discipline and people who want to behave as pop stars pronouncing on leadership. The ANC Youth League would, informed by the recent demonstration and the developments of our country, have a mass demonstration directed at fighting the endless quest of having regime change in our country. The mass demonstration will focus on the private sector funding free education. The march will equally deal with ensuring that we make a call on our government to give the youth employment and economic opportunities in the mainstream economy. But lastly would be to ensure that we defend our democracy, our revolution, and the leadership of the African National Congress. This call is for all the youth of South Africa, that they must be empowered. But specifically, we want to say that Africans ought to be prioritized because for decades they have been deprived in the mainstream economy. That is the end of the statement. Fortunately or unfortunately, today I have read the statement and I would be inviting you to ask questions on the statement. And we are not going to be very long, given the fact that the President of the Youth League needs to go to the NWC meeting of the ANC. Thank you.